Andrea, and this is my friend Marissa, and she is a mom that has had quite a unique journey. She's had twins and then recently a single birth, and I just want to hear what was the difference between those two experiences for you, but then also like what was it like working out and training and kind of doing exercises that helped you recover from that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Andrea. My first pregnancy was with the twins, and it was a huge miracle. We had been trying for a long time. God blessed us tremendously. So we are extremely grateful, first of all, for our children. And second of all, the two pregnancies were totally different from each other. The doctor's approach was different. My approach was different. I was very hesitant with movement and working out and high intensity things with the twin pregnancy because it was technically high risk because it was a twin pregnancy. Something I did extensively research was breastfeeding twins and diastasis recti, because I had heard from other twin moms before me that that was something I would battle postpartum.
Like no matter what, like everybody battles it.
Pretty much.
So what is...
So diastasis recti or diastasis recti, it's said so many ways, is basically when your abdominal wall, which has a part in the middle, splits because your abdomen is swelling, as you can see. So this side and this side separate. The tissue in the middle does stretch, but sometimes it stretches so far that it stays very thin. Even postpartum. So then when your uterus is shrinking back down and your belly is coming in, your abdominal wall stays separated. And some people call it like the mummy tummy or coning. Coning is, also you can have that even if you don't have diastasis recti, I think.
Yeah, like I'm coning in most things I'm doing. Like,
exactly.
Peter is like the cone master, like he's like the detector, like he's like, you're coning. Yeah, exactly. So like if I'm getting up out of a chair and I'm like elevated or laid back and then I'm like coming forward or whatever, he's like, keep that in. I'm like, okay, or like if something I'm playing with Denver or doing something, I've like got a toy and I brace.
Cone alert.
And yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, it does happen, Pete, but it's not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be practicing it. We're not supposed to be doing it with heavy weight.
Right.
We're not supposed to be doing sit-ups. That will, if you're crunching, then your body is going to naturally, have that coning experience.
Coning or tenting. Yeah.
Tenting, yeah.
It does look like that, right? So that was something I was extremely aware of during the pregnancy. And at one point in the twin pregnancy, I was very, very big, and I noticed, the region around my belly button is so good. No, but this little portion got really soft on me. So I noticed, okay, this is gonna happen. And right after the twin pregnancy, I started bracing. So I had a Velcro wrap, and I basically used it as a corset for the first 3 months after my pregnancy with the twins. And that helped a lot because all of my pelvic floor strength and all of my abdominal strength had gone completely.
You needed a belt.
I needed a belt.
It's
I
like
wasn't active. Exactly.
It's like weightlifting, it needs a belt. And it's like, I'm grabbing these heavy weights. It's like, okay, now I need a belt to hold my kid and to lay down my child.
And to not injure my back and injure my core. So it was really important that I had that. But then the next phase of that was figuring out how to actually repair my muscles, how to repair the tissue, how to bring everything back together. And that is what I want to talk about today, because there are specific ways you can actually exacerbate the issue and make it worse for yourself. So it'll take longer to heal, but you can heal it. You can heal it with the right exercises, which is so exciting. With my singleton pregnancy, I noticed things starting to happen similarly. I was a lot smaller. I felt so tiny, even though it was a very normal size pregnancy. But I noticed the same things, like you said. I was coning. I was noticing that thinness around my belly button, and so I knew that once I was postpartum with Silas, I would probably have to exercise the same way, with caution and with awareness that the diastasis recti had happened again, or had just, I would just have to come back together after that pregnancy too.
Yeah, it's so important because, some of our listeners and watchers, like, maybe they haven't had any experience having kids, so they're like, oh, I'm just interested in like, you know, I'm an athlete, I like to work out, or like I do yoga, I do the embrace workouts. How would I do that if I had kids eventually? Like, I'm interested because this video is coming out now. But then some of them are like pregnant along with me. Like, we have tons of women in here that are like, hey, my due date's around yours, or like, oh, I just had my baby and I'm gonna use you guys as recovery, or they're like only like 2 months pregnant and they're like just starting their pregnancy journey. And then there's some people in here that like, I would be shocked, like if I didn't know this, that a postpartum, like a woman that's postpartum, it's anytime you've had kids all the way up until like the rest of your life. You've always been through birth. You're never like not postpartum, like, oh, now it's been 5 years ago, now I'm just back to being a normal like human. It's like your body is always going to be adjusting from like even breastfeeding if you chose that route, or just the way that your stomach is and the way that it operates, like as doing core exercises and lower back exercises, and even things where you're doing strength exercises with weights. And so I just love that like this like applies to so many different people, and these exercises are good for anyone that wants to get stronger in their core, even if they have nothing to do with, you know, pregnancy or postpartum at all.
Definitely. And I think a lot of people tend to carry belly weight, and they can't figure out necessarily what the reason is for that. And a lot of times it's pelvic floor strength. Pelvic floor strength is huge in your life. You'll notice you have better breath support if you have excellent pelvic floor strength, better balance, less lower back issues. So it is a huge benefit to strengthening your inner abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor.
Cool, thanks for sharing, and thanks for coming on with me.
Of course.
Guys, this is part 1 of a 3-part series, so make sure that you stay tuned for the next video.